Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good dawn, good dusk, good day, whatever time it may be. We're back at the Lambda log, week 10, day 2, November 18th, Tuesday of 2025. And this was a rehearsal day, right? We were working on projects. Um, and since we're doing things individually a lot, I don't have a ton to talk about. So this should be a nice, quick, and short video. So we started with our warm up in John Wood at 9:30, like always. And then I wasn't called in for till I didn't write down the exact time, but it wasn't for a bit. 12:15, I think. And so yeah, so I had 10 to 12:15. So I went to the cemetery. Just that's right out by the school. And I ran my lines. And I ran them and I ran them and I ran them. This day we were doing my final act 5 things, so my death scene and then my ghost scene, and so I really wanted to have those down, so I didn't have to have my script and I didn't have to worry about that to varying degrees of success. But I was working on it, and then 3-7 is my huge chunk of dialogue, and just like medium speeches after medium speeches. So I went, I just ran it. I walked like 4 miles. I might have done more than that. Yeah, but just walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Um, yeah, just walking around and running those lines, and it went pretty well. Um, yeah, just putting in the work, and then we did my death scene, which I had this idea of it. So basically, I come in and I say, "Will not King Edward let me speak with him?" And so I'm like reaching out, I'm trying to grab onto something to like, "Hey, wait, let me talk my way out of this." King Richard and I, we were buddies, we were friends, right? He won't. Sorry, I've got this hair. Anyway, he won't. He won't just kill me. He'll let me talk to him. And then Catesby, originally Radcliffe, is like, "No, dude, patience. You don't get that." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I list off all these people who died that I'm partly responsible for. Hastings and Edward's children, Grey and Rivers, holy King Henry and thy fair son Edward, Clarence and all that have miscarried by underhand, corrupted, foul justice. If that your moody, discontented souls do through the clouds, uh, yeah, do through the clouds behold this present hour. Now for revenge, mock my destruction. Like, right? So I'm like, oh man, this is it. You know, like all those people have killed, died. Look at me now. I'm also gonna die. And then I'm like, oh, this is all this fools, haha. This is all Souls Day, fellow, is it not? He's like, it is. And then I'm like, oh, why then all Souls Day is my body's doomsday. This is the day. This is the day which in King Edward's time I wish might fall on me when I was found false with his children and his wife's allies. This is the day wherein I wish to fall to the false faith of him whom most I trusted. Thus Margaret's words fall heavy on my. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow, remember Margaret was a prophetess. Come, lead me, Catesby, to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame. And so, as most people have interpreted it, and as what I've seen mostly, is that this is a little bit like Buckingham's come to Jesus moment, and where he's just like, this is what I deserve. This is this is it, right? And he has this kind of reconciliation. Um, and so I was playing with it, and I was like, oh, I'm pleading to these people, and then I'm just like, mock my destruction. And then I have a memory. Wait, this is All Souls Day, fellow, is it not? Because All Souls Day is the day wherein um, Like where I wished everything would happen. Shout out Sandridge. Where when I made my vows to Prince Edward, King Edward, and everyone, I was like, hey, if I'm untrue, let me die. Let my friends turn on me. Let all things fall apart. And that's exactly what happened. I'm like, oh shoot. And um, then that makes me think when I say, this is the day wherein I wish to fall to the fall by the false faith of him whom most I trusted. That reminds me of Margaret's words. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck when he qua she shall split thy heart with sorrow. Remember, Margaret was a prophetess. So Richard's the one who's splitting my heart. And I'm like, oh crap, her curses is coming true now too. And I'm like, well, there's no hope for me. Oh my. And I'm like, all right, wrong hath but wrong. My wrongs are begetting more wrongs to me. Right? I'm dying because of the wrong things I did. And blame the due of blame. And I'm getting what I deserve, basically. I'm like, all right, let's die. Kirsty has interpreted it a little differently, and she thinks I'm trying to have this big moment. And oh yeah, sorry, there's something in my eye. Wow. Um, she thinks I'm just like stalling or trying to use rhetoric to not die, and that it's not about my recognition, but it's me first trying to live and then realizing that's not working, then trying to have my glorious moment and be like, all right, lead me to the block of shame. 'Cause she cuts my last line, basically. As I say, wrong hath but wrong. And so when I say, come, lead me, Catesby, to the block of shame, I start standing up because he throws me on my knees at the beginning. And then I start standing up and he pushes me right back down on my knees. I'm like, to the block of shame. And then I was like, wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of. And he cuts my neck, and I die. Um, and so it's a little different than I interpreted it, which is fine. It's less justice and catharsis for my character, but that's okay. Um, yeah, I had all these emotional beats that I was going to work on. I was like, that's Margaret, but she wants it to go quickly, so it's going to go quickly. I don't think she likes Buckingham. I think she thinks he's a jerk and a misogynist and lame. Anyway, before we got even got to that part, I waited outside the room for a little bit as they were finishing up, and then we just had like a few minutes before lunch. Um, and she was like, "You do you want to like just do your scene really quickly?" And we blocked that in like 10 minutes, which is also interesting that she's been taking hours with some characters and minutes with my characters, but that's okay. I had a good run on 3-7, and I also understand that because I'm still in my script, it's really limiting what she's able to do, which I feel bad about. I really need to improve my memory and improve my practices that I can get it quicker. But alas, that's that. And so Catesby is also just like kind of mocking me. He's walking around me and like singing to himself. He's like, and then he like puts his hand on my shoulder. And I'm like, what? And then like slits my throat before, and then I die. I did it originally just as a done, like an instant kill, because it felt like speed was the idea. But she was like, you could take more time on that. You can do it like take 3 times as long. I was like, all right. So next time I do it on Thursday, it's gonna be great because she'll probably be like, that's too long. And it'll be fun. But then we had lunch and um yeah, and I started not feeling great. I think the chicken I ate the day before um wasn't good. That it was like it had gone bad. So yikes. But yeah, and then they needed me back for Act 5. And so I went back and then we waited outside the studio for a while. I just wasn't feeling great, but I was chatting with people and trying to go over lines, but mostly just kind of like bleh, not feeling good. And then we got to work on Act 5 and how we're going to do the music a bit too. And we got this little like hit the ground. That's what it is. Ground, leg, leg, chest, chest, legs. We're kind of doing that. And then during the go scene, we're just tapping on the ground. And creates a sound, and we're like, ooh, spooky, watch out. And we're not like being blah, 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 blah. It's funny too, because after I get my neck slit, I'm just kind of like on the stage, dead for a minute, maybe to the end of the show. And then Richard comes in and he puts down his chair for a tent, and I roll out of the way. And then I'm just dead, and I'm just staring at him. And I want to just like keep my eyes up and be like, being a like symbol of his wicked deeds. Even though if friggin' Richmond had killed me, it would have it would have like been just. So it's interesting to think how death is used. Anyway, and then two students um came up with this little melody. I forgot what it is now, but he just played it over and over again on the piano. And then for the ghost scene, instead of like going like I just sit up. I look at him in the eyes and I say my line. The first was I that the first was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. Fainting despair, despairing, yield thy breath. And that's it. And then that's kind of where we left off. I think what's going to happen next is that like all the Richards are going to come, and then in the battle he's going to fight himself. Because right, there's four people playing Richard, and so he's going to fight and die by himself because he's the one who did it to himself. And that's the gist of it. That's what we did. I really need to get my lines down, and I'm trying, and I haven't done it yet, so I will. But alas, such is the way that it is when it is the way that it is. Um, yeah, have a wonderful day. Make great things. Also, I went to bed early and like at 9, and then I slept in to like 6:30. So that helped me feel a little better. Anyway, bye bye.